Hello everyone. Welcome to this workshop. We're really happy to be here today at the Things conference for the first time, and we're also happy to join this big family of the Things Network offshore partners. This session is recorded, but we are of course here in the chat to help you to answer all your questions. During this half of an hour-ish together, we will try to show you first who is Scaleway, what we do, and why is it important to rely on a European cloud provider. Then I will do a demonstration on how to set up the Things stack on a cloud infrastructure. Obviously, Scaleway is cloud infrastructure, as you guessed. We will be using Terraform and Kubernetes for that. I won't present Terraform and Kubernetes. We did some also webinars on Kubernetes previously. We'll show you the links in the chat. Feel free to have a look. We have both an introduction of what is Kubernetes and an expert topic. And once we will have our stack running, Grégoire will show you how to forward a LoRa payload to a Grafana-based dashboard using our IoT Hub, managed Postgre database, and our IoT routes. My name is Louis Moreau. I'm a product marketing manager here at Scaleway. Have experience in IoT world. I started my career connecting African rhinoceroses while I was working at Sigfox. I was in charge of the technical part of the Sigfox Foundation. Have an engineer background. Used to be a full stack developer and an embedded developer. But right now I'm presenting the different products that I'm in charge of, including Kubernetes and our IoT Hub products. Then Grégoire, he's our IoT product manager at Scaleway, and he will introduce himself later on during his small presentation. He's one of the oldest employees at Scaleway. And speaking of Scaleway, who we are, so we are the cloud branch of the group Iliad. Iliad is known for its two brands, Free and Free Mobile. Free Mobile is a telco operator, and Free is an internet operator. So here at Scaleway, what we do is we are a European cloud service provider, YaaS, and we are pioneer in bare metal servers. On the market, we are the 9th cloud provider in the world and the second one in Europe. Right now, we have more than 300 collaborators. We have 6 data centers, 4 in the Paris region, 1 in Amsterdam, and very recently we opened 1 in Poland. We have clients in over 160 countries, so we have a worldwide coverage. So Scaleway is the umbrella brand of 3 sub-brands, which are Scaleway Datacenters, where we focus mostly on private infrastructures. Here you bring your own servers and we provide space, square meters, electricity, so power supply, internet connection, and etc. Everything you need to run your own servers. Then we have Scaleway Dedibox, where we focus more on dedicated servers. You can rent servers by month, on a monthly basis, and we have loads of reference, more than 150 references. I'm pretty sure you will find everything you need. And then what will interest us the most here, it's a Scaleway Elements, so it's our public cloud ecosystem. I won't go into details on every product, but we have here the 6 major bricks, which are the compute, storage, network, IoT, AI, and the tools. So during this workshop, we will use our virtual instances for that are running with Kubernetes. So that's in the compute part. We will use some block storage volumes for the storage part. So we will add some persistent volumes to our infrastructure. We will use, of course, load balancers. Actually, 2 load balancers. Then Grégoire will show you how to use our IoT Hub. We won't use any artificial intelligence here because it's not really the topic. And we'll use a lot of tools such as Terraform I will use the CLI just to set up the credentials, and that's it for now. And I will show you as well the console. So let's get our hands dirty in the demo. The first step will consist of deploying the infrastructure actually with Terraform, then how to set up the TTN stack with kubectl, and then Grégoire will show you the device integration. Before we get into details, into the code, here it's what our common Terraform apply will do. So basically, it will launch our Kubernetes capsule cluster, manage PostgreSQL, and 2 load balancers. Well, actually, the load balancers will be created by Kubernetes later. We'll see that. Just for you to redo the workshop, what you need is to have a Scaleway account. You need to own a domain name, and you need to have Terraform and kubectl installed locally. So that was for the infrastructure diagram, and then we have the flow architecture. Well, actually, the Kubernetes architecture. While we'll be running kubectl apply the manifests, here it's what it will do. We will come back to that later. Let me show you. So here we have a repo. It's right now hosted on my GitHub. It will most likely be hosted on Scaleway's official GitHub repository later on. So we will start by cloning this repo. Let me make a new directory. Let's call it the things conference. Things conference. Here you go, and we'll clone that repository. Here we go. TTN Stack, and we'll open that with Atom so that you can see what is inside. So the first command will be Terraform init, but first we need to configure Terraform to be able to run to create architectures. So what we will do is to I will be using the Scaleway CLI just so you can use my credentials. Would you like to overwrite? Yes. So this organization I'm using, it's only made for classrooms and for demo. So I have right now a blank with no resources created, etc. I don't have any Kubernetes clusters on it. So first, let me create a new API. Well, I had one here. I'll delete this one, and I will generate a new API. This things conference. Here we go. I will copy the secret. Well, obviously, I will delete that one after. So don't even dare to try hacking my account. Here, yes, use statistic, use autocompletes, that one. Okay. So the first step will consist of doing a TF init. In my case, I use a TF as a shortcut for Terraform. Just to show you, you can do that. You can just create an alias. Here you will see that I have an alias here, TF Terraform. So if you try TF, it might not work for you. Just create an alias and it will work. Okay, let's get started. So let's try TF init. So what the TF init will do is just get all the dependencies that we need, whether they are here on the versions or in the main.tf. It will install everything, all the dependency it needs. It should be okay in just a second. Let's wait another few seconds, and here we are. So once we did that, we can run the TF apply. So what will the TF apply do? It will create a dependency graph, And you will see that all these resources will be created. Let's have a small look at what it's going to do. So first, it will create a config map. Then it will create a namespace. That namespace is called LoRa1 stack. It will create another one, a traffic namespace. It will get the kube config directly so that you can export it and run the kubectl later on. It will create a database password. It will create the cluster, obviously. The pool is a group of nodes sharing the same configuration. So here we will have some development instances, the dev1m, and we will have 3 instances running. And we will have a database, which is a Postgre, so a Postgre 12 database. And I just updated a minute ago the version of Kubernetes to the 1.20.2, which is the very latest. So if I agree with all this infrastructure to be created, I can hit yes. And you will see in your Scaleway console all the things that are going to be actually being created right now. So we have our Kubernetes cluster, which is getting ready, but you see your pool that consists of 3 nodes of 3 dev1m instances. The nodes are not ready yet, but they are being created. Then we have our database, the Things Network database that is being created. I've set here HA, which means high availability. I forgot to say that, but I'm not the one who wrote all the codes, who converted all the Docker stack to the Kubernetes stack. It's Clément. He's one of our incredible DevOps in Gregor's team. He's the one who did the job. So yeah, I'd like to thank him for that. I'm just the one using it. So here, our Kubernetes, so the nodes are probably not ready yet, but they are going to be ready. They are being created. You can see as well the instances here. It can take up to 5 to 7 minutes to create all the stack. So I might cut the video right now and I will come back to you once it's created. So here we are. Our resources have been created. I've been told just to increase a bit the size of the terminal so that you can see better. I hope it's better right now. So here we have all our nodes running. We have our database running as well. And we don't have any load balancers created right now. They will create it later with the kubectl command. So let's go back here. Once we've done the infrastructure creation, we will need to fix a few things. Well, it's not fixed, but it's just to configure a few things here in the code. So let me get first the TTN LoRa1 stack Docker. Here I will replace that one with my own email address. So classroom@louismore.eu, and we will replace that one with the domain name we will actually use. So here, which domain I will use? Let me try ttn.hotbota.com. Hotbota will stand for automating boring tasks. It's a domain I own for automating tasks. Here we have 35 occurrence. Let's replace all of them. Replace all. Okay, sounds nice. So that was the first document. If I want the emails to be ready to be sent, I need my SendGrid API key. Here I've got it. So I will just uncomment that so that the email will actually arrive to my mailbox when I will register. Here I'll save that. Then I need to modify the ingress, which is here in the stack, the ingress, I have two things to replace here, which will be ttn.hotspot.com. And the other one is that one, ttn.hotspot.com. We will use we'll change our DNS zone later so that my actual domain can point on the load balancer. So that was the second step. Then we need to change the cert issuer. Here I need to replace with my mail address. For that one, I will use my Scaleway account. Scaleway.com. And here you have two lines. That one is for the staging, and that one is for production. So I will use here as a demo the production server address. Just be careful, you can get rate limited if you do too many attempts. But for this one, this one is for actual testing. I know, comment this line for testing purposes. Well, this is wrong anyway. And I will just need to modify the ingress of the Grafana. We will be installing Prometheus and Grafana because it's always good to monitor your cluster. We won't see how to use it in this workshop, but just in case it's here. So grafana.ttn. Here we'll save. I forgot to save those ones. And once we've done that, we can export first the kube config. Oopsie. Our kube config. So doing that, we need to do that to be able to run the kubectl. Let's get the namespaces. And here you see we have the LoRa one stack that is here. And we will try to get the, so we'll do another kubectl. So we'll use the namespace LoRa one stack, and we'll try to get the pods. Probably empty by now, yeah. So once we've done that, we can apply the certificate managers. So let's run the command kubectl apply -f manifests cert managers. So here it's being created. We can get the namespaces, and you have the cert managers. So we'll try to get the pods in the certificate managers just to see cert manager get pod. Here have that one, and then we will apply all the manifests that are here. We will use customize here to run all the manifests. So everything is being created by now. If we go back to the LoRa one stack and we get the pods, you will see that they are not ready. Let me just zoom out for a second. They are not ready yet. Here we have the Let's Encrypt solver that need to be ready for the LoRa one stack to be launched. For that, I will just add a namespace. I will just point my my domain name to the load balancer. So I'll do that and get services as you see. And here I'll see two load balancers. Let me try to do that for a second. It will be easier. We have the traffic ingress load balancer, which will redirect the internet traffic. And the other load balancer is used for all the data layer, which is all the MQTT protocols, etc., etc. So the load balancer we will need to use is this one. Let me just create a redirection. Here TTN, and I will use that one. Okay, I validate that. You don't see that. It doesn't matter. It just created a type redirection that is pointing on my load balancer. If I just do ttn.outbota.com, it might take 60 seconds. I set the TTL to 60 seconds. We'll see on which. So one. Let me just quit that for a second. So it's not the one that we need yet to. Oh, I don't think I said the right one. Oh yeah, it is. And we have, yes, it's the same. Sorry. So here we go. We'll try to get the pods still. So once the solver will be done, this will be removed. It can take several seconds to do that. In the meantime, we will try to go on the TTN .outbota.com. So it's not found yet. Let me try to do a dig ttn.outbota.com. Server. So it's not the right server right now. Let me pause the video for a second, and I will come back to you in just a few minutes. And in the meantime, you can see that the load balancers have been created. Let me get back to you as soon as the DNS redirection is ready. So I'm back. It should be good by now. Let's just try to get all the pods, and we see that the TTN LoRa one stack is actually running. And here, if we go to our, so just ttn.outbota.com, not secure. Let me just do an HTTPS plus, and we'll try to see if the certificate doesn't seem valid yet. Invalid. How comes? Just check if it doesn't really matter. We can go through. Let me just check if I used it. Oh, I've been using the staging again. That's why. I don't have the actual URL. It is just here. Up. So if you want to have a actual certificate, you can just use this one. I've been using the staging again, but it doesn't matter for the demo. All right, let's click back to our things. So now we have the panel open. We can go and configure the very last steps. So we will just try to get the pod. So the pod, we already have it here. And then we will execute the comments. If you are familiar with the Docker stack, how to deploy it, you'll see the comments look really similar. The only thing is we just replaced the the Docker exec with a kubectl, and we will talk to that particular pod. So let's do that. Let's use my address email for the admin. Well, this doesn't really matter. Let's say admin.remore.eu. Well, it doesn't matter. And we just need to replace that access with the actual pod that we have. Here, we'll ask for password. Let's create a very strong password. We are really a very strong password. First step has been done. Then we need the second command to execute here, which will set the CLI here. Where am I? No. Delete everything. Oh, let's do that. Here. Up. But again, here I copy that. And I replace this with the right pod. Paste. Here, and then it's been done. I export my console secret. With the console secret, you can either choose a strong one, or you can just take the one that is here in the Docker stack. Here, my console secret is console, so I just use the same. And I use my server address here, which is tn.com here, and then I execute that command. Obviously, I need to find the right pod, which is here. And here we go. Now, what we can do is just try to create an account. I'll use a username named Louis Moreau with my Scaleway email so that I can receive the email. And I will actually receive the email because I set my SendGrid API. Otherwise, you can get the logs and you can get the certificate, the validation link. And the password, I think we need to set a password, strong password here, and I'll register. Let me check if I've received the email. And I've got it here. Please confirm. So I will try to confirm. I still have the error. And here I've got the TTN Stack up and running. I quit that. And here we are. You might notice I just changed the URL because I'm using a secured one here. And on this stack, I've got already base station and a device configured so that I can just log in and show you my gateway and my actual device connected that Grégoire will use for his demo. So yeah, I have some devices up and running, and they're sending information. Let's try to do live data. Well, the message are upcoming. So I will leave the presentation to Grégoire. Thanks a lot for being here again. And if you have any questions, I'm here available in the chat. So thank you. And yeah, I'll leave Grégoire do his part of the demo. Have a great day.
Okay, well, thank you, Louis, for setting up the TTN stack. Now we have our data being collected. Let's do something about it. I'm Grégoire. I'm PM at Scaleway for IoT Hub, and I will show you how to do something out of the data that we collected previously by setting up a quick data visualization system. So here's what we're going to do. First thing we're going to do is we're going to spawn an IoT hub. We will then set up the TTN stack to push data to the IoT hub. Then we will set up a PostgreSQL database and have IoT Hub push the messages to it through what we call an IoT route. I'll explain that in a few minutes. And then the last step, once we have everything in the database, is to send all the stuff into a Grafana instance, which is running on a Scaleway instance. That easy. Hey, okay, first thing that we have to do is to create an IoT hub. This hub will receive the data from the TTN stack and actually do something useful with it. So let's do it. The first thing that you have to do is go to your Scaleway console, the IoT hub section there, and create a new hub. So let's give it any name we want. Let's say hub TTN. Amazing. Choose a plan. So let's start with a free plan, so it doesn't cost a single penny to create this. And add a device. So the IoT device we are going to create is not to be confused with a LoRa device. Multiple LoRa devices will push data to the TTN stack. And then the TTN stack will identify itself as a single IoT device on the IoT hub. So let's call this device TTN stack. Good. Here we want to leave the security settings to their maximum level. And that's it. Let's add the device. Now the device is added. We have three things that we will need. The first one is the device ID. So I'll copy this one in a scratchpad for later. And we have to download the device certificate and the private key. We will need them later when we will be configuring the TTN stack. Here is one, and here is two. Okay, great. Now we're done with the IoT hub and device configuration. This is that simple. Okay, so now we have set up the IoT hub. Let's configure the TTN stack so it can connect to the IoT hub. So that's very simple. Let's get to our TTN application and go to the pub sub integrations and add a new pub sub integration. It will use the MQTT protocol. Let's call it my IoT hub. As we have enabled device security in the IoT hub, we have to use secure connections. So let's enable that. We will select the certificate file, the client private key file. Here they are. Let's now get the root CA certificate. So if you go back to your Scaleway console, go to the networks tab. Here is the certificate authority. I will now write it down in a file. Let me do that. Here we are. And let's input this in the root CA certificate file. Here we are. So your server URL is located there. Here's the endpoint. So we'll use MQTTS. as the port. Let's write it down there, MQTTS. Okay, the client ID is the device ID that we wrote down earlier. Let me grab it again. Here we go. That's very simple. Oh, sorry, not the client ID, the username actually. It used to be the client ID. Let's use my TTN client ID. You can put whatever you want here and there. Let's use QoS0 in both uses, so we get the simplest thing. What format? Let's use JSON. Let's use TTN as base topic. And we will want the uplink messages. So we'll write down uplink there. So the MQTT topic used for sending messages will be TTN/uplink. And now we have done this, we can just add the pub sub and we're done. The TTN stack is now ready to push the LoRa messages to IoT Hub. Let's do it. But first, we have to understand what the payload of the message that is being sent by the TTN stack looks like. So I have it here. This is the JSON and what it looks like. So let's make it a little bit cleaner. We can see here that we will want two fields. The first one is here, the device ID field, which basically is the device name. And I will also want to get the decoded payload field here in my database, because this is what I want to store. And this is the data from which we will create a graph. So let's create the route. Creating the route is pretty simple. In your Scaleway console, you have this route tab here in your hub overview. We'll just create a route. The name of the route will be, say, route database. The topic here is an important thing. Earlier in the TTN stack, in the integration, we said that we wanted all the messages to be published on the TTN/uplink topic. So here we have to specify this topic. So the route subscribes to this topic and receives the messages that are published by the TTN stack. And of course, as we have a PostgreSQL database, this is the kind of route we will choose. So what you have to understand is each time a message is received, the route will execute a query against this database. And here is the query that we want to execute. It's not a very complicated query. Basically, it inserts a new row in the TTN data table. The TTN data table, as we saw, has 3 columns: date, device, and message. As the date, we are going to say right now. As the device, we are going to here ask PostgreSQL to decode our payload as a JSON object and just take the end device ID dot device ID field, the one that we saw earlier, which contains the device name. And as the message column, we will want to have the decoded payload, which is itself a JSON content. Okay, and then the other fields are pretty straightforward. Let me fill them for you. We have database settings there. Pretty easy. Database name is TTN, username is TTN, and the password is a very secret password. Okay, now let's add the new route, and we're done. So now each time a message is published on our IoT Hub with the TTN/uplink topic, it will be caught by the route, the DB, and sent to our database. Very simple. So that's how we fill the database. So now our IoT route has been set up. We have luminosity data that comes from a luminosity sensor on our LoRa device, which is sent to the LoRa gateway, and then in turn to the TTN Stack, which backs it as an MQTT message for the IoT Hub. And through the IoT route, this data is stored into the PostgreSQL database. So now everything is being stored in the database. All we need is a visualization tool to see that data. So I've set up a few minutes ago a Scaleway instance with a Grafana software. And here's what it looks like. In a few minutes, we have set up a full LoRa application from the device to the end application. And that was pretty easy. Pretty cool, huh? What do you think, Luis?
Yeah, thank you, Grégoire. It's super cool. So yeah, you've seen how to deploy the Thing Stack on a cloud infrastructure, how to forward a LoRa payload. We stay here. If you have any question, feel free to ping us. Also, few notes. We're hiring, so if you'd like to join Scaleway, feel free to visit our career website, and do not hesitate to follow us on our social media. You can find us at Scaleway. Have a great day, and we stay here for your questions. Bye.